Hello, I'm Brian Rountree, Corporate Safety Director with the Haskell Company. Today, we're going to talk about mobile elevating work platforms. The content contained within is provided to establish ownership in the shared responsibilities in creating the safest work environment, free of recognized hazards and reduction in the potential for incident. The intent of the content within is to promote safety awareness within the construction industry. This content is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to offer legal advice and is not intended to encompass all potential safety concerns, required training, or take the place of any or all jurisdictional requirements by OSHA or other local, state, federal regulations, or your employer where more stringent requirements may reside. Mobile elevating work platforms are governed by the A92 standard, and they are changing. There are a lot of aspects of the standard that are changing, so I've condensed this presentation down to the most important things that you need to know. Aerial work platforms previously fell into four categories: manually propelled vertical elevating work platforms, self-propelled vertical elevating work platforms such as scissor lifts and single personnel lifts, self-propelled boom-supported elevating work platforms such as articulated and telescopic booms, and vehicle-mounted elevating work platforms such as trailer-mounted booms. If you take a look at the aerial platform fact sheet that is provided on the OSHA website, you can see that it actually references the standards that apply. In addition to the A92.2, they also list A92.3, A92.5, and A92.6. So when the new ANSI A92.22 and A92.24 standards are released, it follows that OSHA will enforce those as well. Along with the term Mobile Elevating Work Platform comes a new acronym. Instead of AWP, we will be calling aerial equipment MEWPs. Also, instead of the previous four categories of AWP that I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, we will be using a new set of classifications. MEWP classifications are made up of a combination of two distinguishing descriptions: a MEWP group and associated MEWP type. A MEWP group is determined by where the platform location is in reference to the tipping line, which is either at the wheels or at the outriggers. A Group A machine has a design that does not allow the main platform to extend beyond the tipping line. In other words, the platform does not go outside of the drive chassis envelope. A perfect example of a Group A would be a scissor lift. Conversely, a Group B machine has a design that allows the platform to extend beyond the tipping line. A great example of a Group B machine would be an articulating or telescoping boom. In addition to a MEWP group, we have a MEWP type. A MEWP type is in reference to traveling. There are three MEWP types. Type 1, traveling with a Type 1 MEWP is allowed only when the machine is in a stowed position. I will give you some examples of these in a moment. Type 2, traveling with a Type 2 MEWP with the work platform and the elevated position is controlled from a point on the chassis. Type 3, traveling with a Type 3 MEWP with the work platform and the elevated position is controlled from a point on the work platform. Type 2 MEWPs are not as common as the others. For the purpose of this training program, we will focus on Type 1 and Type 3 machines only. Genie has supplied several different guidelines for the different types of MEWPs available to help you in the proper selection of the equipment for your project. Proper selection of MEWPs must also be covered. This will involve asking a series of questions regarding the application as outlined. Who will use the equipment? What site characteristics influence the use? When will the equipment be used? Where will the equipment be used? How will the equipment be used? For example, how high will you work? Outreach or not? How many people in the platform? How much do the materials, tools, and equipment weigh? inside or outside, or both. Level terrain, slab floor. Rough terrain, mud, sand or snow. Narrow or congested access. Weight capacity of the flooring material. Need to drive up a ramp. Unusual working conditions. Doorway access, single or double. Vehicles available for transporting. Power source. There are 4 categories we'll discuss going forward. Type 1A, 1B, 3A, 3B. The user must develop a safe use program specific to MEWPs, which must include, but not limited to, perform a site risk assessment. Selection, provision, and use of suitable MEWP and associated equipment. An assessment that the support surface is adequate to support the weight of the MEWP. MEWP maintenance, including inspections and repairs. Inform the operator of local site requirements and warn and provide the means to protect against identified hazards. Have a trained and qualified supervisor monitor the performance or the work of the operator. Prevention of unauthorized use of the MEWP. Safety of persons not involved in the operation of the MEWP. Risk assessment. The risks associated with the task specific to MEWP operations shall be identified. These might be associated with the location where the work is to be carried out, the nature of the MEWP, or the personnel, materials, and equipment to be carried. Be sure you identify control measures, identify safe work procedures, rescue from height, and communicate the results. The user must develop a written rescue plan that will be carried out in case the machine breaks down, platform entanglement, or fall from the platform. This plan shall be in writing. All occupants must receive training that explains procedures to follow if they fall and await rescue or witness another worker's fall. This plan must limit the time that a properly restrained worker hangs suspended in the air. Rescue plans can include the following: self-rescue, assisted rescue, tactical rescue. This photograph illustrates why rescue planning is critical and required. Rescue planning is a component of your daily safe work plan and your mobile equipment work platform daily inspection form. Self-rescue systems come in a variety of styles that can assist the operator in lowering themselves to the ground, such as the systems shown here. They are relatively affordable packs that mount onto your existing fall protection harness. In the event of a fall, the operator simply pulls the ripcord and the system will slowly lower them to the ground. Assisted rescue by others in the work area will most often be done by lowering them from the ground controls, so it will be crucial to ensure that all workers in the area have been familiarized to operate them in an emergency situation. They should also be familiarized on how the auxiliary controls function should the main system fail for some reason. Of course, you should always try to have a backup work platform in the area, should you need to do a platform-to-platform rescue. Jeannie has provided guidance and resources on the creation of a rescue plan so you will not have to start from scratch. Another major addition to the standard is occupant training. The MEWP operator must ensure that all occupants in the platform have a basic level of knowledge to work safely on the MEWP. They must cover the requirements to use fall protection and the location of fall protection anchors. Factors including how their actions could affect stability, safe use of any MEWP accessories that they are assigned to use, any site-specific work procedures the occupants must follow related to the operation of the MEWP, hazards related to the task at hand and their avoidance, manufacturer's warnings and instructions, and at least one of the occupants must be provided with the knowledge to operate the controls in an emergency where the operator cannot. Jeannie has provided us with an occupant instruction sheet. The sheet can be laminated and placed in a weather-resistant compartment with the operator's manual. It provides the operator with easy access to the required information, ensures compliance with the standard. Fall protection is required in all MEWPs. Harnesses must be fit to the individual and worn correctly. The MEWP operator must ensure that all occupants are wearing their fall protection gear appropriately and attached to the correct anchor point. Fall restraint devices must maintain connection to the manufacturer's designated anchor point at all times. Under no circumstances will fall restraint devices be attached to a MEWP handrail, building structure, or other points. Always follow manufacturer's recommendations for fall restraint or Haskell's Code of Safe Practices. The most stringent shall apply. Utilize a maximum of a 6-foot SRL. Fall restraint shall be connected in a scissor lift unless occupants are moving between anchor points. In this case, the lift controls shall be neutralized when the operators are moving between connections and or fully retracted and neutralized for any movement. MEWP stability. Manufacturer specifications and limitations shall be observed. This includes load capacity verifications, occupant limitations, subgrade limitations, and similar. Weight capacities of MEWP units shall be visible to the operator at all times. Materials shall be secured to prevent displacement. Materials exceeding the width or length of the basket shall be secured per the manufacturer's requirements. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for handling materials and supplies. Do not lean over the platform guardrail. Maintain a firm footing on the platform floor at all times. Do not climb up on the toe guard, mid-rail, or top rail. Do not jump up and down or shake the platform. Do not push off or pull toward any object outside the platform. Do not touch the platform controls. Maintain communication at all times with the operator and avoid sudden movements. Accessories. When utilizing accessories, always follow the manufacturer's recommendations and ensure they are approved for the lift in operation. Review the accessory guidelines and verify the weights of the materials being elevated. Hazard recognition and site assessment. Complete and review the mobile elevating work platform MEWP permit. Ensure the MEWP is the correct type for the scope of work. Review the MEWP rescue plan. Conduct a work area survey and hazard assessment. Are there drop-offs, holes, floor drains, etc.? Slopes, bumps, floor obstructions, and electrical cables. Confined or enclosed areas. Debris, overhead obstructions, electrical conductors, hazardous atmospheres and or hazardous locations, wind loads and inclement weather conditions, traffic hazards and other mobile equipment, surfaces that are inadequate to sustain the ground-bearing pressures imposed by the MEWP, underground installations and drains, light gauge metal concrete decks, mezzanines, floor grading. Maintain the safety of workers both in and around the MEWP operation. Maintain a controlled area below and around the MEWP to prevent persons and objects from being struck. MEWP operation and operator's manuals. Review the manufacturer's safe operation and warnings with the MEWP operator. Understand the safe operation and scope of work, including the equipment capabilities and limitations. Review the controls and emergency operation of the lift with the operator. MEWP review. Review the MEWP operator certification card for the type of lift. Ensure the MEWP is the correct machine for the task. Ensure the MEWP has a current annual and pre-operation inspection. Complete a worksite assessment and rescue plan. Complete and post the MEWP permit. Review the manufacturer's safe operation and warnings with the MEWP operator. Review the controls and emergency operation of the lift with the operator. Wear all required PPE, hard hat with chin strap, PAFS with 6-foot SRL attached to the anchor point. Keep body and hands inside the lift and out of pinch points. Maintain communication with the operator at all times and follow all directives. Ensure the work area is barricaded and spotters are in place as required. We have utilized Genie training tools for this program. You can find additional information at Genie's ANSI A92 website page at genielift.com/A92. I appreciate you taking time to view this presentation. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns after we have completed this webinar, please contact your assigned safety representative. Thank you. We appreciate your time. And remember, if you have to choose, choose safe.